I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And I'm Liz Eston.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Liz to like musical theater. And you guys, we've got a super special guest.
Oh, the most special guest.
The most of all.
Yes, please join me in welcoming artist, video maker, and Willy Wonka truther, Pushing Up Roses!
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. No autographs. Thank you so much.
How are you doing today? Thank you for joining us.
I am doing amazing. Thank you for asking. I'm so excited to be talking about Willy Wonka. When we decided to get together to do this, I looked at all the episodes and I'm like, what can I do that's relevant to me, that I love, that I grew up on? And I noticed you guys hadn't done Willy Wonka. And I'm like, it's perfect. And I actually love musicals. I don't talk about it very often, but just as an artsy person, I love musicals. Grew up on Rodgers and Hammerstein. Don't know if that's good or bad, but that's where we are. And Willy Wonka was always like a comfort movie to me as a kid. Watched it over and over again. So very excited to talk about it and the stage play, which I am sort of excited to talk about.
Yeah. You got the double-edged sword of it because right around when you messaged us and we were working this out, our patron Daniel Smith requested on Patreon that we do the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory stage musical. So I thought this is a brilliant time to torture you and make him happy.
I didn't even know about it. Maybe I did a little bit. There are certain scenes I saw that went viral, but I don't think I fully understood what it was or where it was coming from.
The tone. But we don't really want to dive into that quite yet. For now, we're going to break this episode into two parts. And right now we're going into the pleasant candy room of the 70s. And right now we're going to talk about the original 70s Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination.
So Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is a film written by Roald Dahl, technically, with music and lyrics by Leslie Bricusse and Anthony Newley, based on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. The film was released by Paramount Pictures on June 30th, 1971, with a budget of $3 million and only garnering $4 million at the box office. Not really a big hit. However, in the mid-'80s, it gained a cult following where it was all over TV and all over the video stores, because that was not something you could find films at the time. And the plot of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is an eccentric candy man, Willy Wonka, prompts a worldwide frenzy when he announces his golden tickets are hidden inside of 5 delicious candy bars. Will admit lucky holders into his top secret confectionery. But does Wonka have an agenda hidden amid the world of Oompa Loompas and chocolate rivers? All right.
Oh man, the agenda. What agenda is it?
I wouldn't have phrased it like
children.
that. hey, we're not quite there yet.
The secret ingredient?
Oh.
Soylent Green?
No, it's Augustus Gloop.
It's true. He's delicious.
Yeah, the Gloop Busters. So, Roses, you were very deeply connected to this film as a child. Andrew, I'm very curious, what was your connection to Willy Wonka as a child?
I watched it once or twice. I
So
knew
pretty
I knew the
deep connection.
Candyman song.
Pretty
Yeah.
bonded.
There's a scene in Malcolm in the Middle that I've seen a lot where they sing the Candyman song, and
Wow.
that's probably my deepest connection to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when I was a kid.
You're a deeply emotional man connected to all the facets. What about you, Liz?
I grew up watching this movie. I'm pretty sure I have a pretty bad memory, but I remember watching it as a kid and I really liked it. And then I watched the Johnny Depp version later and I didn't like it. So then I watched the 70s version again. It's like, oh, this is actually really good. I actually own a poster of it in my house somewhere.
Nice.
So I'm very attached to it now. I've seen it a few times as an adult.
It is a good film that ages. It gets better as you grow up. I feel like it's one of those things that doesn't quite stagnate. I feel like a lot of our kids movies, especially in our generation, don't tend to age that well. Like even the Johnny Depp one, like literally a kid screams the R slur several times.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. No.
Like the timelessness of that movie doesn't exist.
Yeah, right.
But yeah,
Wait, that's real? That's in the movie?
yeah, he says like Mike TV hacked the system. And he's
Oh,
like,
it's
an
Mike
R-
TV. Okay.
An R slur could do this, and I'm like, because I
Right.
watched all of the versions to prepare for this, and
I have never seen that one, and
it's fine.
It's
I don't think
Great.
you don't have to. Don't feel like you need to. Don't feel like you need to watch it.
Production design wise, great. Everything else, so this was a deep childhood memory for me as well, much like you, Roses. What was the first time you watched it? Like, was it on TV? Whether you shown it by your parents, or did you discover it?
It was I was at my aunt's house. I was always at my aunt's house. I had a favorite aunt and she loved musicals, as did my dad. My father has since passed, but they grew up on musicals. And there were like 3 movies in rotation that would play when I spent the night at her place. You know, my parents would need a night out or whatever. Go to Aunt Carol's house, we're gonna watch some musicals. And that was Willy Wonka, The Sound of Music, and Mary Poppins. Those were on rotation. They were my favoriteest things in the world. But Willy Wonka was something special to me because it, unlike the other musicals, this seemed more substance. There was a lot of dialogue. It seemed to have more meaning to me. There was like a serious nature to it, especially with Gene Wilder playing this version of Willy Wonka. So I was a very introspective child grown into a gothy introspective adult. And like I just really liked that poetic nature of Willy Wonka. So I liked it as a kid. I appreciated more as an adult. Because I think as a kid, you connect with the golden ticket winners. Because they're children. You connect with Charlie. But then as an adult, I connect with like this melancholic Willy Wonka that Gene Wilder plays. You know, he is. He's like really wistfully melancholy.
I think that's the best way to describe Gene Wilder, and that's a good transition to talk about that performance, which I think if you had gotten that even a tiny hair incorrectly, the film doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
And he's just picture perfect. We'll talk a lot about how performance dictates whether or not a Willy Wonka makes.
Yeah.
But Gene Wilder, he's like a raunchier side of comedian. Like at the time, it was a different choice. I feel like most people have kind of thought like a kid's show host, and Gene Wilder was just kind of an offbeat comedian. So it's interesting to think about how that could have gone wrong. And it's different from the book where he's described as like bearded. He kind of looks like Andrew. Andrew is the description of Willy Wonka in the book.
See a top hat.
Just the top hat, the beard, like a little like calm, like introspective hobbit is the best way to describe him in the book, where Gene Wilder comes in like goofy haired all over. He's like, you know what? I'm going to read some poetry at these people and murder some children, maybe. But I feel like the thing that ages best about the film is the stuff before the golden ticket. Because I don't know if this happened to you, Rose. A lot of people around my age, my parents called me in as soon as like they were entering the factory. So I never got like the golden ticket side of the story. I just got the, yeah, we're in the factory. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
You skip half the movie?
Your parents are like, this half is boring. We'll protect you. So
I was like 4. So I remember it very clearly being very, very small. And my mom was like, all right, come on into this. You'll like this. I promise. And then she sat me down. And of course, I liked it. But
this is the part where all the kids die. You'll love this part.
Well, the tunnel scene is like the specific
she was trying to scare you into being a good child.
I mean, let's talk about all 5 children. Who wins the first one? I think it's Augustus Gloop. Am I right?
Augustus
Roses?
is the first one.
All right,
Yeah.
what do you think of Augustus?
Oh man, what a weird character. And that's part of the thing. That's part of the movie that I thought, and book, that didn't age very well. Why are we making fun of this like bigger child? It's a little strange, right? It's just a little bit bizarre to me. I like Augustus in theory. I'm not sure I've ever liked Augustus in execution in any version.
I feel the most bad for him. He just likes chocolate.
He's just
and he
hungry,
dies.
man. Like just give the kid some
It's
chocolate.
like
He's
he
a
won a
kid.
chocolate tour. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
By all theories, he should be the one that gets the factory. There's another podcast on this network called The Wrong Cat Died, about like how Grisabella shouldn't be the one chosen at the end of Cats. There should be like Augustus should have gotten the factory. He should have won the golden ticket. No one knows more about chocolate and what kids want than him.
I don't know about that.
No, he probably would have eaten all the product.
Yeah.
Would have contaminated
I
the
don't
chocolate
think
river.
Charlie.
It would have been
I don't
bad.
think Charlie
Everyone,
got it because he liked chocolate. I don't know.
Yeah.
There
I
would
think
be
Charlie got it
bacterial
because he was the
infections.
last
We can't
one.
deal with that.
Yeah.
Do
Augustus.
they die in the order they get it? Is this like Final Destination rules? Like,
Oh, that's a good question. No, that's not true because Veruca's next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I do want to hold on Augustus just a moment longer because it does extend to like the greater Rawl pantheon of how Roald Dahl like thinks of bigger people. Like there's
Yeah.
also Bruce in Matilda, and Miss
Right.
Trunchbull is described bigger.
Mhm.
And I don't quite know what he has to say, but he definitely has like these opinions on gluttony that I'm like,
Yeah, I think he's definitely conflating it with greed. You're just blindly, for Augustus, just blindly eating whatever you can, and it's not necessarily his body that is the problem. It's the unthoughtful greed, I guess, that goes
so
into
he
it.
already has a different character for greed, though. So it's like,
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, what does he exist just to rhyme nincompoop, greedy, foul, and infantile?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Like-
think he also wanted to make fun of Germans.
Sure does seem like it, right?
I mean, were we
Especially in the
coming out of a
movie
world
version.
war?
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. You know what? We've hit the head. But let's move on to Veruca. What do you think of her?
She's my favorite of the sour golden ticket winners. And that I might be a little biased there because I think the actress does a fantastic job in her role. She's so talented. She's so perfect at playing this dominating child in her parents' life, with the mom being like, oh, whatever, who cares? Just give her, she's gonna be mad if you don't give her thing. And the dad just being like beleaguered and like, I have to give her the thing. And I think at the very least, I think maybe Augustus wasn't executed well, but I do think the greediness of Veruca was good because they brought in the parents. They're saying the parents, you're not disciplining your kid. She's getting extremely spoiled. Now she thinks she can rule the world. So I think that kind of greed at least was executed better than the gluttony of Augustus, who just wanted chocolate. That's all he wanted.
He wanted chocolate on a chocolate tour. You're getting a tour of a chocolate factory.
And
you're
Is
so
that even a
bad.
problem, really?
And
Is
you're
that,
told
do
you can eat anything? Like these kids are bursting open these balls and licking the
Yeah.
inside. Why can't I drink the river?
Also, why didn't Wonka put a fence around the river? Just-
Yeah, candy little
Good call.
fence.
Yeah, just like, what are you doing?
He wasn't prepared. Let's be honest. Was
Yeah,
Wonka really prepared to
I mean, that
tour
chocolate
his
was
thing?
watery. I'll give him that.
I think
but
Wonka was extremely prepared, actually, because I'm
murder
pretty
children.
sure all of these murders were planned. Because
Yeah,
there's
'cause
no
it-
empty seats on the boat. I'm just saying.
Oh no!
Brilliant. He's right. He's
Truth
right. That's-
bomb.
But I do want to talk about how Veruca is the only one of the kids in the musical outside of Charlie, because he doesn't count, that gets their own song.
It's true. Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to think. Yeah, she gets her own song. Mike TV doesn't sing. Augustus is barely there. Poor guy.
Like, she is the only one that has more need than Charlie, so much that they have to sing.
Yeah, wow. I don't think I ever clocked that before. And I do wonder if that's just because her character was just very larger than life. I remember even as a kid, I was slightly bored by Mike TV, slightly bored by
Like
Augustus.
TV's lame.
Yeah. But Veruca, like, she's dressed in this bright red dress. Her voice is larger than life. So I'm just wondering if they're kind of playing to the actress's strengths there.
I think that her song is great. I Want It Now. Bree, play some
Yes.
clips of this.
I want a ball. I want a party. Pink macaroons and a million balloons and performing baboons and give it to me. Now, I want the world. I want the whole world. I want to lock it all up in my pocket. It's my bar of chocolates. Give it to me now. I want today.
So that song, like, it is the shot in the arm that you kind of need, because it follows one of the more, like, crazy, like, frustrating scenes, which is the fizzy lifting drink scene, which always just gave me pure anxiety when I was younger.
Same.
Well, they're going to go
Same.
into that fan.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
was
all these
having a hard
bubbles, not to hide the wires or anything, just because there's fun to have bubbles.
Willy Wonka doesn't believe in safety. Okay.
But So that song always like stuck it with me. It's like, oh, thank gosh, we're back to it. We're back to the fun musical numbers. But
Right.
Finally, someone will actually die.
And just like pure destruction in that whole scene. There's a scene that always stands out to me from the actress. It's when Veruca's saying she wants all this stuff and she doesn't want to share them, and she has a little moment where she's kind of shaking and going a little nuts, and then right back into eloquent, like, soft voice. I'm like, that's brilliant. That is talent right there. What a good cast, you know?
I will say she's probably the one that has the most to do as an actress among the kids. Like even
Yeah.
Charlie, he kind of like has 3 notes and he hits
Yep.
them fine. Where she's like got all these small, minute things of how she's supposed to play things, and she exceeds at all of them.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. What do we think of her comeuppance? Did she deserve to go into the furnace and be marked a bad egg?
Oh, I certainly think she deserves something. I don't know if she deserved to be incinerated. I don't know if anyone deserves to be incinerated.
What a choice.
If anyone deserved it, it was her.
Oh, God. Really? Mike TV was like watching racist stuff and he brought a gun to the factory?
Yeah, I mean, Mike TV, he gets stepped on later by his mom.
What?
He's like-
it's true because
like
he
that
shrinks in the TV room, and then Mike's mom accidentally steps on him.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did that happen in the movie?
Not in the movie. I think,
Okay.
was that a book?
No, this is fan fiction that I wrote.
It sounds accurate. I read the book since I was like 8.
You were about
me
to
going.
gaslight me real hard, though.
I'm
I was
gassing you
very
guys up.
intrigued.
No, I don't. I mean, in my head, all of these kids do die.
Oh.
Like I honestly, I don't. How do you survive any? Like one of them turns into a blueberry.
Well, you get
How
juiced.
do you survive that?
You just get the juice pushed out. It's very normal. And in
What
the
does that look
incinerator,
like?
you know, that's only on Tuesdays and Thursdays, every other or whatever. So,
But the fall, though.
Well, you know.
I do want to bring up one of the things that the Tim Burton movie goes out of their way to show is that all the kids live, and
Yes.
that she's like all bendy now, and but even though she's blue, and that
Which
they're
I think is a little more horrific. It's like you see how now they're deformed for life.
You have to like
Like,
live
by-
with the consequences of what you've done. Yeah.
It's like maybe it's better. I don't know, but I prefer not seeing it.
In the original movie, Wonka just says they're all restored to their normal, terrible selves. And in the Depp film, yeah, they're just deformed forever.
I think
we assume.
Gene Wilder was lying. It's like, yeah,
He
in
was
hell.
lying?
He's not gonna tell Charlie that
Oh
they're
no,
all
they're dead.
I
They're
murdered
dead.
your cohorts.
That
Wait
could
till
have
we
been
get to
you.
the Broadway version, though. I can't wait.
Well, we got 2 more kids to go through. So next we got Violet Beauregard.
Before we get to Veruca, I have just one thing to add.
Yeah.
I'm on the Wikipedia page for Charlie and Chocolate Factory characters, and there's a paragraph dedicated to the Tom and Jerry version, only in Veruca's section,
Oh,
and no one else's.
Oh.
because she
We
has her own
got it.
song.
Yeah,
I have not watched Tom and Jerry I have watched that one.
we have watched Tom and Jerry
It's
Wizard
on the
of Oz.
YouTube channel.
Yes. I have not watched the Willy Wonka because I love myself.
I love that for you.
Is it one of the ones where Tom and Jerry are just like there,
Yes.
like the Wizard of Oz one, where they're just like, why is Tom and Jerry here?
Well, fun fact, they give Slugworth a lot more to do in the Tom and Jerry Wizard of Oz special, and I know for a fact he sings "I Want It Now," but to Tom and Jerry.
That's weird.
Do
Choice-
Tom and Jerry get the golden? Or does Charlie get it?
There's an Oompa Loompa played by the little annoying one.
The what?
You know, the annoying one that talks in Tom and Jerry, the little mouse, and they let them in.
Oh,
talking
like the
about?
white mouse?
Yeah,
Like
that
the-
one.
The
that
smaller one. Yeah, the one that can't shut up. Yeah, I know who
Yes.
you're talking about.
And it's played by Phil and Lil from Rugrats, and they're like, "Come on, Tom and Jerry, we gotta go into the factory."
What?
I love myself. I didn't watch it. I'm giving you as much context as I can.
I can't wait to watch this with you, Jess.
Yeah, it'll be on the Patreon eventually.
I'll join you.
Yeah, it'll be a blast. So let's move on. Violet Beauregard. I love her father in the movie. Her father is probably my favorite person in the entire movie.
He's a car salesman, right? Just
Sam B, it's a guarantee.
I always, like, as a kid, I always felt confused at Violet. I'm like, I didn't get any symbolism that may have been there by the author. I'm just like, okay, she likes gum. Cool.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, just not a lot of substance there, to be honest.
Other adaptations are trying to make it, oh, she's ambitious and competitive, which is bad, which I think the stage musical tries to lean into, and I know the Tim Burton film really leans into.
Yeah.
Which, is that bad? I don't know.
What's wrong with being competitive?
I don't know. It's pro-capitalism.
Are
She
they trying to
doesn't
say
even-
she's like a poor sport because she steamrolls? I've never quite understood, because they have such an emphasis on the gum, and what does that even symbolize? Like, if you're an over-competitive person, right? What is your comeuppance, and how does that relate to the gum scene?
Blueberry, turning into a
blueberries, yeah.
blueberry. It's
That's what needs to
definitely-
happen to Elon Musk. We need to turn him into a blueberry.
Then he'll explode when somebody darts him.
I don't understand where it came from in that regard, but I do think it's a fetish thing.
What?
Yeah, no notes. Pretty sure that's correct.
Look up Sonic inflation on DeviantArt, and then watch the Violet Beauregard scene and
Liz, you
look
got
for any similarities.
Violet Beauregard Rule 34. See if it exists.
See
Oh,
if
it
it
exists,
exists. Are you
probably.
kidding me? There's like probably hundreds upon hundreds of pages. Do not share
You're
screen.
Right. Don't screen
look
share,
that up.
but I want to know if it exists.
Don't look that up.
Her
what I'm here
comeuppance, she blows up into a big old blueberry and maybe dies.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the only thing that kind of
How do
showed
you-
her true colors prior the gum was just disrespecting the rules and be like, I don't care about your product. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it anyway and kind of disrespect this person. And that's the only thing I saw that she was doing that was like, well, that's wrong. He said not to, and you did.
Yeah. But I like it when she's just. There's specific relationship stuff here that I love in this movie. Like how much she and Veruca hate each other.
Oh,
like
yeah.
from moment one, just the little things that they say to one another is like obviously vitriolic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's so
Doesn't
much
Charlie
Rule
break the
34
rules?
of Violet Beauregard.
Oh my God.
Oh, so
And
weird.
many other Willy Wonka characters. Take your choice.
No.
Oompa Loompas.
Probably. I didn't scroll past the first 3 lines.
Well, internet, you're welcome for that. Liz Eston has fallen on that sword for you.
You're welcome,
Violet
internet.
Beauregard really just doesn't do anything really wrong other than break the rules.
She picks her
Right.
nose and then critiques spitting.
She picks her nose.
Charlie breaks the
Does
rules
that.
too, though. I mean, you're just talking about
You're
the fizzy
right.
drink scene.
Yeah.
Well, that is one of the things added only for the movie, the fizzy lifting drink scene. Now, we still got one more kid we got to talk about, but let's talk about the Charlie of it all now. Charlie did deserve the golden ticket in the movie. I'm not the golden ticket, the prize at the end. I don't think what he did was good enough.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like it's definitely way better than the stage play because
Yeah.
in the movie at least they have Slugworth and they're constantly kind of tempting him. I do feel like they do constantly tempt him even
Yes.
in the beginning of the movie. And maybe that's just good enough for Wonka. Maybe he just needs to see a pure child who can redeem themselves even if they did break the rules. He is a kid. You
Yeah.
know, he's a kid. He's going to break some rules probably, but if he shows he's pure of heart, I guess that's good enough. So I do like Charlie. I don't know if he deserved or is even good. Like, I don't know. How is he just going to handle this entire factory with all of his old grandparents? Like, it seems a little strange, but I
The
did like him. He
taxes.
seemed pure enough.
I think he did deserve it. I'm just, I gotta,
Just
I don't know
by
where you're coming
ser-
from, Jess.
Just by being the final girl, he deserves a factory. We're not giving Laurie Strode a chocolate factory for not getting killed by Michael Myers.
But we're giving her like multiple sequels. I don't know. I think it's fine. I think Charlie's a good kid who has an imagination, and that's what matters. That's what
And
we
maybe-
learned.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I also think is it even about worth? Or is it about just you are somebody who's been down on their luck, impoverished, and you come into this and you kind of you deserve it just for those reasons. You deserve to have something good. So maybe it's kind of more of a Cinderella tale in that way, you know, where you come up in this terrible situation and whether you deserve it or not, here it is. You know, you got it.
It's also probably a dream. I mean, the whole thing.
Oh.
Jacob
Well,
Platter
yeah.
style. He died in the fizzy lifting drinks room.
Come on, he gets a golden ticket. He buys a single chocolate bar and he gets the golden ticket. Come on.
He
No,
lives
He's,
in.
he's
he doesn't-
imagining it all.
I thought he finds the golden ticket in like a grate.
No, he
finds
finds
the money for the chocolate in the grate.
Right. I'm okay. Right. That's correct. Okay.
And that's his second bar, I think.
Right.
Okay, so it is the interesting thing. All right, I pitched this to Andrew earlier, and I need to pitch it to you now, Roses.
Okay.
So Charlie is fairly selfless throughout the first half of the movie. The one time he performs a greedy action, he gets rewarded with the golden ticket. What does that say?
I
Selfishness is the greatest virtue. I mean, that's obviously the moral.
Just be selfish. and
Yeah.
Get what you want. Just get it.
Yeah.
Mixed messages coming from the show.
Roald Dahl did not have a full message in mind, I don't think.
Maybe not. And I don't know if I watched Willy Wonka thinking there was a full message there. You know, it's just kind of like this nice story about a kid who gets as Willy Wonka says, gets everything he wants. And whether it was deserved or not, it's nice to see somebody who is impoverished get something.
I agree.
So I'm not sure if there's a message. I think he tried, like with the greed and like the gluttony tried, but I don't know if there is a deeper message than just a really sweet kid getting something nice from an eccentric old man. And that's the story.
I like that story. If you want me to say anything, the only bad thing about Charlie is his grandfather. His grandfather is the devil and constantly influencing his worst decisions.
That's true.
I hard disagree.
Oh my gosh.
I'm with
Grandpa
Andrew
Joe-
on this. I don't
Grandpa
agree.
Joe is totally fine. Did nothing wrong. Actually, the best character.
I am very against the Twitter rhetoric that Grandpa Joe caused all the problems.
Grandpa Joe did cause all the problems. Are we
No, he
in a
didn't.
war right now with Liz and Andrew versus Jess and Roses? Because I'll fight to the death.
Grandpa Joe did nothing wrong. He was supportive of Charlie the whole time.
He bought
He's a
him a
nice old
chocolate
man.
bar with his meager funds just to make him happy.
Kept it
He did
warm
learn to
under his
walk.
ass the entire day.
He can't get up. What are you gonna do?
Melted by my ass folds, Charlie. Open it up. That bothered me as a kid. He like pulls it from underneath his butt that he's been sitting on all
Oh,
day.
God.
Wonka bars don't melt. They're magic.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I need tobacco. I don't get out of the house or do anything, but I need tobacco.
Oh, what are we shaming him for being lazy now? Like, what is this?
What is this, Augustus Gloop?
Is
Do we
this-
have
is
another
this,
situation?
He's
Is this the
61 if
Rush
he's a day,
Limbaugh
and
show
he's been
over
out
here?
of...
Like, what are we doing?
He hasn't been out of bed in 20 years at age 61. What is the wife's out there not doing anything?
His wife is in bed.
Yeah, they're all in bed.
They're all in
Jess.
bed together.
And the
They're all
grandparent
laying in
orgy.
bed.
You're right.
They're all laying in bed because they can't get out of bed.
Yeah, they're old.
And then he can get out of bed in
As soon
Charlie's
as
dream.
As soon as it helps him
But the dream
financially, he
theory makes
decides he
Grandpa
can
Joe
get
less
up.
of an asshole.
Ugh.
I don't like this commentary on old people that can't get out of bed. Like, what is
Yeah,
that? They're not that old.
Yeah, they're like 60. And he said he hadn't been able to get up in 20 years. I don't know why that bothers
Oh, no.
me.
We are just going to like crumple when we turn 40. That's it, man.
I feel like
that's
he
the end.
has like polio or something.
I mean, there could be something going on here. Like, we don't know the
All
whole
of
story
them?
of his grandparents.
All four of them. I don't know,
I got
man.
it from Georgina, and she got it from George, and it all kind of spread.
I mean,
Don't sleep in the
what if
same
he,
bed with
what
old
if he
people.
used to work in a coal mine or something and he broke his legs? Like, we don't know what's going on there.
You know what, Andrew? You're
It's
right.
pretty cruel for you to assume malice because an old man lays in
dear.
bed all day.
Okay. Here's a pitch of a question for you guys. If Charlie's mom had gone with Charlie, do you think they would have still done the fizzy lifting drinks?
No.
Nope.
There we
Charlie's
go.
mom would have pulled
The
Charlie
fizzy
away.
lifting drink was necessary though. He had to learn that lesson.
I think he already had the lesson. My favorite part
I
is
will
Grandpa Joe being like, "We're gonna give that to Slugworth. Come on, Charlie, let's make some money."
He is the worst. You're so right. I will
But
say
that's
that.
the right decision though.
They're poor.
Oh my God.
Willy Wonka just murdered
Oh my
5
God.
children in front of you. And like, what do you have
Andrew,
to go to the police?
Shut up for a second. Rose, what were you trying to say?
I like this narrative. I was just gonna say, despite that, I still think Grandpa Joe has one of the best songs in the movie. It's very fun.
Yeah.
I like singing it. I just watched it the other day and was like belting it out. And when he's, learning to walk with Charlie, Golden Ticket, I think it's just called I Got a Golden Ticket.
Yeah.
But that being said, he is crotchety. He doesn't like anyone. He enables Charlie to do terrible things. Not the best. Not the best.
I'd say we might know something about him and his wife, but she wasn't allowed to have any lines, so.
Oh, you're right. Even
But he stands
Georgina
up for,
got a line,
he stands
okay?
up for Charlie, though.
Hey, he should be out playing and instead of like working all day. Well, you would have to get a job then, Joe. You should go get more money. Let the boy work.
He stands up for him against Willy Wonka as well. He's like, what the heck? We did all the whole thing. You're not going to give us the prize anyways? Like,
You know
I
what
don't
he should have done? Hey, Mr. Wonka, I told him to do it. That was my bad. Can you please give the kid another? That's
Good
what a
call.
real
It
grandfather
It wouldn't
should
have
have said.
mattered, though. It wouldn't have mattered, though. Willy Wonka wouldn't have given him the prize anyways. Because that's not the point. The real test was the Slugworth thing.
True. That's true.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
real test.
And Charlie's the only one pure-hearted enough in the whole story to see that. Which is why Grandpa Joe has to be against him on that one.
Yeah. We still have to talk about Mike TV though.
Okay, Mike TV is just awful in every version.
In
and
every version, he's
it'd be kind of
terrible.
fine if they
Yep.
just cut him, like, entirely.
I love the TV room though. That's such a fun idea.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah.
fun idea. I like as a kid, I'm like, that's interesting. Look at all the specs on the screen. Wow. Like as a kid, I'm just like very fascinated.
Never understood how it's supposed to work, though.
It's
You
nothing.
can't reach into a television.
Hold on, I'm gonna just touch you real quick, Andrew.
That's the
The Broadway version, I love that they couldn't quite figure it out either, so they just had them reach into the side of the TV.
Yeah,
And, like,
brilliant.
it's like, what? That's what?
yeah, that's like it's clearly not how broadcasting works. Like we're not put into a million pieces in the atmosphere. Like that's not at least not like that, not visually. Like you shouldn't look up and be able to see like little artifacts.
That was for the
silly.
audience. They wouldn't understand the ideas of television.
I don't get it.
There's little bits of Mike TV, his organs and all that getting re-put together. We gotta rebuild his lungs here, little boy lungs.
Mike TV actually did die in no matter what version you
Oh
because
my
that's,
God.
That's like it's like when you dissipate like that, you're dead. And then when you come back together, it's like a clone, you know?
Oh, it's deep. It's real deep. So you're saying in every version, he's just a shell, just a clone of his
He's like a
former self.
miniature clone of his former self. Yeah, the real
Wow.
Mike TV is dead.
Wow. And
Wow.
you thought that we were gonna stick with like just kind talk here in this Willy Wonka episode.
I think Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is fundamentally a horror story of sorts.
It is baby's first slasher movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, it explains a lot. So
I kind of like it.
I agree.
Oh, I love it.
I think this movie is perfect in a way. Production design could be a little better.
Yeah, as I watch
Well,
it as an
it
adult,
could be
I'm like,
worse as well.
eh.
Like I watched it again just last night and just seeing like, oh, that's just custard thrown onto like paper mache and that's just a blown up balloon. Okay.
in some warehouse with like industrial looking tubing and like
It looks
yeah,
like an athletic center gym because it just has like those windows.
Jess, do you think it would be improved if there was no set at all?
No, I don't.
You don't?
I didn't try to adapt this to Broadway, so I'm not that galaxy brained. But that's the one room that I feel like aged badly. The other ones feel okay. Like I kind of like the inventing room and how kind of shitty
Yeah.
70s that looks. Like that works for me. I always wanted to try like the weird tomato concoction he was making up there.
yeah.
Um,
I like the invention room. I liked the weird like shrinking room. I liked the coat hangers that are just hands. As a kid, I'm like, oh, it's so scary.
Jean Cocteau hands reaching out.
I feel like the candy part itself is a little underwhelming just because you can tell what is fake and they're just clearly those are just bouncing balloons with maybe chocolate in them. I'm not sure what they're eating. But I do like it. I thought they could have done a lot better for the stage. There were a lot of points where there was like just nothing. So at least the movie
Yeah.
has a setting. At least it's trying.
Yeah, well, we should talk about the scene that defined a lot of people's experience with this film, the boat scene.
Oh my God.
So
I love the boat scene.
I love the boat scene so much.
Roses, you watched this young like me. What was your reaction the first time you saw that boat scene?
I need you all to understand that as a kid, I was scared of everything. Like I did a 180 in my teens. Like after my dad died, I decided I was the most badass person on the planet, got a bunch of piercings and tattoos and changed my whole perspective. Prior to that, everything scared me. I couldn't even go to Chuck E. Cheese and ride 75% of the rides. They were terrifying to me. So this boat scene legit gave me insane nightmares. And not even just for those watching, I hope you know what this entails, but there's a scene with like a chicken getting its head cut off. And that didn't bother me as much as like that snake millipede. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Going over the nose.
I could not watch it. I had to fast forward through it as a kid. As an adult, I think it's just the most artistic, amazing, like demented thing I've ever seen. And I adore it. And I adore Gene Wilder being very creepy and just spewing nonsense.
Is great.
I swear to God, next time I'm on an airplane and I know the pilot, I just want to get on there and do the Willy Wonka speech. Just no context, see what happens. What is your favorite image from it, Andrew? Because I know you love this scene.
I just like the whole thing as a whole. I just like the I just like the speech, honestly. That's my favorite part.
I just like how obvious it is it's not moving. Like, it's just like
it is not moving.
Stationary. The Oompa Loompas are going, but they're not going anywhere. They're just in front of a screen projecting things. Like, my favorite thing are just the cutaways to the adults. Like, the secret ingredient to this movie is really Mrs. TV. She is probably like my favorite character. Somebody's touching me.
She's so like cranky and like just frustrated. I love her. I love Mrs. Mike TV.
But my favorite moment with her
What's Charlie's reaction to all of it? I forget.
Like, Grandpa!
He's very freaked out. I'm watching it right now on mute. He's very freaked out.
He's freaked out, but like there's a part where like Slugworth comes on, and that's what freaks him out the most. He's like, oh my God, there's the guy.
And then like less than a minute later, there's a lizard eating something, and he's like,
Like a
that's
fly.
fine.
Yeah, that's fine. But
Mike
Slugworth,
TV pulls out a gun. Starts pointing it at the wall.
So
he's
70s.
unhinged.
Just how it starts with Violet going like, what is this, a freak out?
Freak out. What a 70s thing to say. Like late 60s, early 70s thing to say. Freak out.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's talk about some of the most famous songs in the world real quick. Candyman, iconic opening number. No way you could ruin that.
But can you?
Yes, we're foreshadowing there. You brought up I've Got a Golden Ticket. I love that song so much as well. There's a few near misses with an upskirt shot of Grandpa that makes that a little anxiety inducing for me.
I wish they had gotten a little closer.
Yeah, I'm like, man, we're missing the good stuff.
Yeah, show off them legs. They're working again, and he's all about it.
The peaks on his legs, they look pretty good for being in bed for 20 years.
Yeah. He got the moves. And then basically outside of pure imagination of And I Want It Now, it's just reprises of the Oompa Loompa song.
Oh, and Cheer Up Charlie.
Okay, there is an idea going around more recently, Roses, that people just always skipped over that song. And the entire scene where he's like, Mom, why won't I get it? And she's like, because you're not good enough, Charlie. Did you like that scene as a kid?
I did. Because, as I said, I was very introspective. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so dark and poetic, and I can relate to this, even though I could not relate to that. There was just something about the sadness of it that I was like kind of drawn to. And there are still people in my life today. Like I watched it with my roommate and he's like, I hate this song. Let's fast forward. I'm like, this is an important thing. He's thinking about his life and we should watch it. I never skipped it. I skipped, what did I say? I skipped the boat scene.
Yeah.
That's what I skipped as a kid.
You can't skip the boat scene.
Yeah. What did you think about Cheer Up Charlie, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't remember it.
So you must have skipped it the entire, like,
Unmemorable.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the scene's really good, but I think it really does a good job of showing off Jeremy because UKistan or wherever they are in this movie, because they have American accents, but it's very European wherever they're living.
Yeah.
Is this like his mom sings this song?
Yeah.
His mom, yeah.
Yeah, his mom is a character for like the first half and then just disappears and never comes back.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
Well, his dad was a character in the book, but then they just kill him.
They did put him in the Depp version, which is nice.
And
Kinda
the
kept
West
that.
End version of the musical, but then they're like, nah, gotta kill him. Gotta kill him for
Kill him
Broadway.
off.
Gotta make it more tragic.
It's more sad if he has one dead parent.
Yeah. All right, it's time for our favorite part of the show. It's time where we compare our opinions to those of the insane people over on Letterboxd.com. It's
Oh,
time
God.
for Previews.
It's time for previews.
It's time for previews.
All right, Roses, are you aware of how this works?
No, but I'm very excited right now.
Alrighty, so this is called 1 star, 5 star, where Liz and I are gonna read reviews to you and Andrew going head to head, and you have to guess whether the full review on letterboxd.com, and we did not make any of these up, is a 1 star review or a 5 star review. This game is
gosh.
deceptively difficult.
Okay, I'm so excited. I am so ready.
There's got to be a lot of good ones for this.
All
There
right,
is.
Liz, whose team do you want to be on, Roses or Andrew?
I'll be with Roses.
Hell yeah.
Woohoo!
All right, you go first, Liz.
Alrighty then. Let's kick this off. This film is just midsummer with children.
Is that the whole thing?
That's
Yep.
the entire review. It's one sentence.
I'm gonna.
Is that true?
You know what? It already sounds unhinged, so I'm gonna go 5 star.
That is correct.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
Is that even true? I haven't seen Midsummer yet.
It's
It's
not
not.
untrue.
It's Wicker
It's
Man
not
with a
untrue.
lady.
I like Wicker Man
That's true.
and the ladies, so it's like perfect.
Yeah, but Wicker Man is nothing like in the Chocolate Factory.
Midsummer, I get where they're coming from. It's culty, but people do get picked off one by one in a similar vein.
But that's like the only comparison. Good job,
it's,
reviewer.
it's very bright.
They tried.
And Florence Pugh does add a bunch. That's her face. All right, Andrew, you ready?
Yeah.
Hello, naughty children. It's murder time. All in caps.
5 stars.
That is correct.
Hell yeah. I mean, I wrote that
Murder
one, so.
time.
It's murder time, children's.
Andrew has like 15 alternate letterbox accounts. That's how he wins these.
It's true. I go in before I'm like, time to write my reviews.
All right, Liz.
All right. Augustus is literally the little German boy ever.
Did they watch the whole movie? Okay. I'm gonna have to go with 1 star.
That is a 5.
What?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
You know what? That's not a 5-star review. Whoever you are, reviewer, I give you 1 star.
The reviewer.
That'd actually funny you could review the review.
I'm the reviewer, and I'm here to stop you from reviewing this. You
Like,
can't
did I
review-
find this review helpful? No. Thumbs down.
Isn't the reviewer a thing that happened?
I'm
on
sure it
the
did.
YouTube?
All right, Andrew, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here is the full review. I want Uncle Joe Stash to tickle my lower lady lips.
Ah!
I remember this one specifically because she calls him Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe.
Are we projecting? What's going on here, reviewer?
Come on, what's wrong with Grandpa Joe?
He's too old.
G filth. 5 stars?
That is correct.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, there was a very positive tone to that particular.
They want to
review.
rewatch it, I'm betting.
Oh god. I
Probably
was gonna
watching
pick-
it in slow-mo, kind of freeze frames a couple times, you know?
Yeah, especially during, the I got a golden ticket, like almost upskirt shots.
Yeah.
Willy Wonka Rule 34 is a thing.
Wait, did you write this?
I'll never tell.
Maybe I have 15 alternate letterbox accounts. You don't know.
All right, Liz, what we got next?
Okay. Wonka casually plays a flute.
I love that review, actually. There's got to be a 1 star in here somewhere. So just based on statistics and like process of elimination, I'm going to say it's a 1 star.
It's a 5 star.
What?
It's a 5-star
There's got to
movie.
be a 1 star in here
There's
somewhere.
no 1 stars. Gambler's fallacy doesn't work here.
All right, Andrew, are you
Very
ready?
upset now.
Yep.
Grandpa Joe could have walked anytime he wanted, yet he chose to stay in bed while his family starved.
It's a 1 star.
That
and
is
you wrote it.
That is a 5-star, and I did not.
Or did you?
Man, that reviewer's angry. Can hear it.
Grandpa Joe did nothing wrong and is a cool grandpa.
All right, Liz.
All right. Oh god. There's like 15 different accents in Charlie's Town and no explanation for why.
I'm going to go with 5 stars.
It's a 1.
What?
She got her 1, though.
See, statistically, I knew there had to be a 1 in there somewhere.
All right, Andrew, you ready?
Yeah.
Can't decide if I hate Grandpa Joe or will let him hit it.
What is happening with these thirsty Grandpa Joe comments?
It
Ooh,
was
Grandpa
a
Joe.
What is happening?
Grandpa Joe, you're looking mighty fine over there. Mind if I join you in bed?
With the other 4.
Room for one more?
Oh my god.
5 stars for more Grandpa Joe?
Yes. Liz, you gotta get it back. You gotta get it back.
I know. I'm failing.
You're failing Roses.
I know. I'm so sorry. It's my fault.
I'm bad at this. This game's
All right.
hard.
This game is much deceptively
It's very
difficult.
hard, actually. I played it before. I lost very, very easily. All right. I'll do a very simple one. Zaddy Wonka.
Zaddy one. Well, that's got to be a 5-star.
Yes, it's
There
fine.
we
And
are.
it's too positive.
We're
not
back
to
on it.
be.
All right, Andrew, you ready?
Yeah.
I played Augustus Gloop's mom in a school play.
What's my favorite
It's the most like
letterbox
nothing
movie?
part. You might as well say you played a tree. um, 1 star? I don't know.
That is
I honestly,
correct.
Okay. Damn.
Maybe she had a really negative experience in this school play.
She was aiming for, like Violet Beauregard, Charlie's mom, Mrs. Gloop.
This is cool. She has like 2 lines, and one of them's just like, "My Augustus."
Save some food for later.
My son.
My son, he is dead. He got sucked in the chocolate. I can't do a German accent.
He's going to become the Gloop. The Gloop chocolate.
The new Gloop chocolate bar.
Oh,
Well, maybe if he was better, he wouldn't be.
limited edition.
All right, Liz.
Wasn't that in the movie? He got sorted into like, he got saved because he got sorted into bad chocolate. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
That
It
is
was
to
too
go to the
watery.
chocolate room. It goes to the fudge room.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
That was their
Yeah, he went to the
excuse.
fudge room.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I'd let him kill me. I don't care.
Who, Grandpa Joe or?
Everybody.
I don't. Is this Letterboxd or like Live Journal? Like these people are very thirsty. Let's do 5 stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, you're getting back in the game, Roses. All right, Andrew, you ready?
Yeah.
This movie is like a fart. You think it's going to be silent, but when you let it rip, you just shit yourself. The song slap, though.
What? They thought they had something there when they wrote that. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
No sense.
What are you talking about? The movie's like a fart that you think is going to be silent, but when you let it rip, you just shit yourself.
The song slapped though.
The song
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 Slap,
slaps.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slaps them cheeks.
I mean, okay, saying the movie is like shitting yourself, so I'm gonna guess it's bad. One star.
That is correct.
But the song slap. Never
song
The
forget.
song slap. The songs don't even get it to 2 stars though. It's still 1 star.
That's so sad.
Not even
It's the
1.5.
saddest thing.
All right, Liz, we got 2 more, I think, or 3 more.
Yeah, 3. Okay. Where do the grandparents piss and shit if they never get out of bed?
Oh my god, I wondered that too. As a kid, I'm like, do they have a chamber pot? Like, how old are they? I always wondered that. I'm gonna say that that's a 5-star.
Yes.
Yes. Because they're thinking about it. So if they're thinking about the minutia, clearly they like the movie. That's my justification there.
The world building they're considering.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew, you ready?
Yeah.
This film used to play on a loop at one of my former jobs, and I can now quote the entire thing.
Ooh, that can go either way.
I gotta say, if a movie was playing at work that much that I could quote the whole thing, I don't think I'd like it. But he can quote the whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, but might I posit to you that now you have a skill. This movie has given you a skill of memorization. I'm just putting that out there for your consideration.
I'm gonna go with 1 star. I don't think this is a good review.
That is correct.
Ah! Tried to sway you.
Yeah.
Dang, I'm good. I'm good. Getting them tonight. Oh, my mic is falling down is what's really happening though. My goodness.
It's Willy Wonka's fault.
He's trying to kill you for being too confident. What do you do when you're cocky as shit?
Okay. Okay, there's 2 left. Yeah.
2 left. Okay.
All right. Fucking scam artist, creepy ass grandparents.
Whoa, okay.
Come on.
Calm
These
down,
last
sir.
reviews are slightly mean, so it was either one.
I'm going to say that's so negative. It's got to be a 1 star.
That's a 5 star.
Wow.
I would have went 1 star too. That's crazy.
Letterboxd be crazy.
Letterboxd is weird.
Letterboxd has some of the funkiest people on the planet.
And the
What is with
horniest.
the grandparent hate? My goodness.
It's either thirst or just untapped hatred.
Have you guys seen the TikTok of the girl like, yeah, but look at how Grandpa licks that snozzleberry?
No.
Yeah, he like goes full tongue on them. Like, I want Grandpa to lick me the way he licks that snozzleberry, and she got like a lot of hate. That's a good video though. I think about it at least once a week. All right, last one, guys.
Okay.
Love that this movie is pro child slavery.
Ooh.
Is it pro child slavery, or I mean, are
Or
the Oompa
Oompa Loompa
Loompas
slavery.
children?
Well, you know, Charlie basically had to work at age 5 or whatever age he is.
I feel like doesn't this is like one of those like ambiguous time period movies though, so I feel
Yeah.
like it probably was like child labor was just cool. I mean that sounds bad. 1 star?
That's a 5 star. You're incorrect, but you still win the day,
dang.
Andrew.
Libertarian
win.
reviews, my bad.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got a shill at you. Today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at Patreon. Andrew, tell us a little bit about Patreon and what's going on over there.
Oh man, you can go to Patreon if you want to support us and get some extra content. We got commentary tracks, we got an extra podcast that runs over there. We do monthly meetups. You can request episodes. I believe this was a request.
Yes, it was.
So lots of stuff going on
You
over there.
also get video episodes. You can see what's going on here and a lot of extended cut stuff. Like a lot of stuff that I know doesn't make it into the episodes because it's too risque for the masses. We recently got
it's just bad.
it's just bad. We recently got a comment from a patron like, how did you cut the first 15 minutes of your first date episode? And I'm like, I don't even remember what was wrong with it, so that's great. But I can also just tell, like, looking at Rose's picture right now, they just want to say, support us on Patreon. It's right on the tip of their lips. Oh. Oh no, Roses, I don't know what happened, but your audio just suddenly turned into like a demon monster saying that. Oh, that's gonna
All right,
be
we should
fun.
the
just
wrong
start. We
mic.
should start reading the names.
Yeah, I'm sure
Jess, you
names.
want to do it this time, Jess? Or?
Yeah,
I'll
please
do
do it.
Our current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Leighton Ackles, Danielle Renix, Justice Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Monica Thoreau, Brent Black, Mina Maniri, Nathaniel Stacy Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Carrie Ahern, Mary Lou Choquette, John Vanals, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Gracie, Kyle Summers, Scootin' the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Liz Lim, Allison Stellar, Nothing is Certain Except Beth and Taxes, Thespian, Ren Cohen, Rafael Martinez Salas, Jessica T, Mitchell Young, Chai Teacup, Katie McDonough, Timothy Keys, Chris Marcotte, Mimu, Kiji Marie Anastasio, Layla, RJ Narija, Avon Regan, Charlie B, Patrick Deering, Avery Brinson, Bjorn Hermans, Joanna Oakley, Erica S., Toriana Frazier, Sammy The Most Lopez, Lyanna Morton, Angela, Kaylee Blazier, Birdman69, nice, Danielle Smith, who requested this episode, Cinema Again Reviews, Villainous Miss, Shona Enders, Safina Ali, The Omega Geek, Tori C., Katrin Evans, Paige Pearson, Maddie Wargle, Jonathan, and Dragon Eye. They all give us a little financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals of Cheese. If you'd like to join them in supporting us and get tons of fun perks such as patron-only commentaries, a full Patreon podcast, and a lot of other cool shit, come join us over at Patreon. All right, are we ready to get back to the show?
Am I back?
You're back.
You're not a demon. You're not a demon.
I'm so sorry you guys all
Well, I
had to
have no
see
idea
my
how that
true
happened.
form. Usually I keep that, under. But we're good now.
Yeah. My
That
inner
was
demon comes out
so
sometimes too. I get it.
funny, though.
You need to
timing
keep
and
that
everything.
in there. You need to keep that.
I hope that it showed up in your recording, maybe.
It probably did. Like it was probably more of
Okay.
a mic issue than a broadcast issue, so it probably is there.
Well, if you're sounding good now, I think we're in a good shape. But that was you can't buy that kind of timing.
That was crazy.
Just had a little phlegm, had to clear my throat. We're all good now.
All right, let's get back to it.
can even eat the dishes.
Who can take tomorrow?
Who can take tomorrow?
Dip it in a dream.
Dip it in a dream. Separate the sorrow and collect up all the cream.
The Candyman.
The Candyman, oh, the Candyman.
So Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is a musical written by David Grayegg, and with music and lyrics by Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman, based on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. It was directed by Sam Mendes. The musical premiered on the West Side at the Royal Drury Lane Theater, which Andrew has said that's where the Muffin Man lives, in June of
It is
2013, and ran for 3 years and 7 months before closing on January 7th, 2017. The production broke record for the weekly ticket sales in London while receiving mixed reviews from critics. The show won 2 Laurence Olivier Awards in 2014 for Best Costume Design and Best Lighting Design. A reworked version of the show opened on Broadway in spring of 2017, with changes including new direction by Jack O'Brien because, Sam Mendes was busy making good things. O'Brien wanted the score to pay homage to the Leslie Bricusse and Anthony Newley songs, written for the 1971 film, and would also feature the songs written by Shaman and Whitman and a couple new ones. O'Brien confirmed that the Candyman and Pure Imagination would be included in the musical because of course it is. For this production, the characters of Augustus Gloop, Violet Beauregard, and Veruca Salt, Mike TV, are all played by adult actors, unlike the child actors in the London production, while the character of Charlie is still filled by a child actor. The Broadway production received mixed to negative reviews from critics. Despite the enormous overhaul to both the book and score from the London production, critics noted that the storytelling was still choppy and relied too heavily on humor. Criticism was also drawn to the decision to cast adults as the Golden Ticket winners instead of children, as well as the lackluster set redesigns for Broadway. However, Christian Borle received widespread praise for his performance as Willy Wonka, even amongst negativity towards other aspects of the show. So I'm gonna disagree. Christian Borle's rough in this. But Roses, I am so fascinated on what your thoughts are of this Broadway revamp.
There's no nice way to put it. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Interestingly, a few months ago, I just made like a new group of friends who are theater people, and musical theater is part of that. And so I've been watching a lot of musical theater and theater lately. And I think I've become spoiled on very good musical theater and stage acting. And this was not it. This was not it. I could not believe the humor. And like as a humorous writer myself, I'll do riff jokes, MST3K style jokes for Murder, She Wrote. I could not believe how unfunny these jokes were. And they start immediately. They start with Wonka coming out, which is bizarre, a weird choice in itself. And he's like, everyone likes chocolate except for dogs. And the audience is laughing. And I'm like, where's the joke? Where's the joke?
See, dogs can't eat chocolate.
Because they'll die.
Because they'll die. Yeah.
And I noted that right away as they're trying for this humor. They're trying to make it ha-ha funny instead of Gene Wilder eccentric funny, but like, isn't this goofy? Isn't this silly what we're doing here? And at the end of the show, I'm like, are they trying to satire this? But it's already satirical. What is this? Like, the tone was all over the place.
I swear I have not seen a more confused show in my entire life.
Yeah.
Especially after watching the West End version, which is very much in kind with the Matilda musical that came out a few years before it. They feel very of the same ilk. Not like the humor is there, but very of the Gene Wilder movie where it's a little bit more tongue-in-cheek and less broad. Mm-hmm. Where when they transferred to Broadway, it's like, let's tell as many jokes and make it as morbid and mean-spirited and kind of cynical as we can.
Mm-hmm.
But what'd you think of it, Andrew? Your first watch?
Come
on, say it.
Yeah.
Say it.
It's what do you want me to say? What do you want me to talk about?
I remember you telling me, like, I actually thought it was really good.
Whoa. Okay.
I thought it was no. I thought that the tone was really good because you were talking about you thought the tone was.
I think the tone's a mess. So elaborate on that.
They just murder the children. Like they
outright.
There's
yep.
no ifs, ands, or buts. The kids are dead. The parents see the kids die, and we get to watch that. And I think that is incredible that they would actually go that route. So I really applaud them for that.
That was not in the case of the West End version. I want to say that.
But I do think overall it's pretty bad. There's a lot of not funny jokes. And I think the worst thing possible is the set design is just non-existent.
Yeah, I clocked that too. There were so many parts where they're like standing in front of what appears to be a blue screen or something, and there's just nothing. And I'm like, where's the set? Like, where's anything?
My absolute favorite scene in the whole thing is when they go to an empty room and there's a maze.
Yeah.
A maze that they have to navigate. And everyone has to navigate the maze, but Mike TV gets bonked on the head by stuff. There's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
The stage is empty. And I think the joke is like a fourth wall break, because at the end of it, they're like, oh, I guess we can't go this way anyways, so let's go back. And they just walk back.
Yeah.
And they don't go through the maze anymore. But like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Is the joke that this sucks?
Or is it like
The joke is on you for watching this.
or is I don't even know if the play is smart enough to even make this commentary, but are they trying to be like, use your imagination, pure imagination. These are the things that are happening and these are what the kids are interacting with. But I actually don't think it's smart enough to do that. And it wasn't creative enough or visual enough to pull that off. But I will say, the actor playing Mike TV, I liked his physical comedy. I liked seeing him flop around the stage like a fish. It was very funny to see him get clocked like multiple times.
Another performer I think is really doing the work here is the Mrs. TV. She anytime she has a line, it sells really well.
Mrs. TV has problems, man. Like she's like, yeah,
They
I'm
made her like a
drinking
wine
and-
mom, right? Like,
She doesn't love her kid because she doesn't respect. Like, she's happy to see that he's made small so she can take him home and treat him
like a toy.
Yep.
Yeah.
On Violet, when she explodes into a juice and just is dead.
Yeah. The father
doesn't-
seems really distraught. Like, she exploded.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't Willy Wonka make some sort of comment to her about how like now she'll make good wine or something?
Yeah.
And he's also like, she exploded onto the scene. And like the audience is like
It's
cracking
like,
up
what
at
do
this.
you mean?
I'm like, oh
It's
God.
like-
What was
she's just dead.
There was another one where Mike TV's like so small and just kind of goes off, and then they're like, "Oh, is Mike TV ever be back to normal?" And Wonka's like, "No one's back to normal after they've been on TV."
Yeah. Yeah.
These jokes are real mean,
And you know,
real unpleasant.
Yeah.
it's weird because they also tried, well, obviously they modernized this. And I think the
Yes.
reason the movie is so timeless is because you can't really tell what year we're in. Even as a kid, I didn't know it was an older movie. I didn't really know, except for maybe the set design and maybe the fashion choices. But this play, it's all about memes, and they're saying LOL, and I'm gonna tweet about it and put this on the gram, and it's
Trump
very modern.
references.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is not going to
Isn't
age
Mike
well.
TV? He plays like Fortnite or something. He's doing Fortnite dances.
Yeah. and I definitely appreciate a good, like, satire or commentary, if you will, on social media. That's fine. But this was it's just shoehorned in. It's just LOL. It's for the lulz. Put it on Instagram. Check me out. And it was weird. And it was weird seeing it from adults. Even though I understand why they cast adults for the kids, it's still bizarre.
So they can murder them.
So they can murder. Yeah, it would be only Stephen King gets to do that, my friend. If you're Stephen King, you can put child murder in your shit. If not,
Okay.
we cast adults.
I think it has a really weird quality to it though, where you get to the end and all of these kids are dead, like actually dead, and Willy Wonka's joking about how they died. But then you get to the end and it's like Willy Wonka's talking about this imagination and how Charlie and him share something together. And it feels like Charlie is being inducted into a cult.
Yes.
like,
I was actually cracking
you're
riffs
next.
like, is this
You-
Scientology? What's happening?
You are the next Willy Wonka, Charlie. Get ready, because you're going to be making blood sacrifices every year.
I don't disagree. Let's try to extend ourselves a little bit. Was there anything we liked about this show?
I will say yes.
Well, I already said.
There's a
All
couple.
right.
There's a couple things I liked about the show. or at least appreciated. Let's not be silly and just say I liked
Right.
it. But I did appreciate some of the puppetry. I remember I wrote that down. The Oompa Loompas were weird, but the puppetry with the black outfits that they were wearing, that's not easy. And it translated for me. It reminded me of like Labyrinth when Jim Henson's puppeteers would do similar things like that. I thought it was okay. I'm trying to think of other things. There were maybe a couple songs that I thought were sweet in nature, but ultimately they were disconnected, and maybe that's why I liked these like sweeter songs, because once they ended, they went back into this odd-toned, almost egocentric version of Willy Wonka. And so it's a disconnect. Even though I liked that puppetry and I liked some of the sweeter songs, it's still so disconnected from the whole thing, you know?
I like that they made the guy that runs the candy shop like horrible.
You mean he was Willy Wonka. I feel like it's like
Yeah.
in the text.
I'm pretty sure it is, but I love that he's awful, but he's also... It's almost like he knows that Charlie's going to get the ticket somehow.
They keep queuing him up to be like, "Oh, Charlie, take this free candy bar," but he never does.
He never does it. He's like... You think he's going to give him anything, and he doesn't,
But
but
he
then
never-
he leaves behind money or something.
He doesn't even sell him the candy bar that wins him the golden ticket. The street lady sells that to him.
Yeah, so it's like he can't actually know that he's going to get the ticket. So it's like Willy Wonka is like, I'm going to be too nice to this Charlie kid, so let me be horrible to him at first
So
or
in
something.
the West
But
End
I don't even
version,
know.
he is just kind of playing a street, like a tramp on the street, like, and it's Willy Wonka, and it's a little less obvious. Like, he's basically the one that goes the nobody ever goes in, no one comes out moment. He's that guy, and I'm like, okay, that kind of works. Here, this does not work for me even a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's-
it works at all.
It's so weird. There's so many strange choices that I feel like it's an interesting watch just because of it. It's just like, I don't know what they were just trying to do.
No, I really don't. Okay, I got one nice thing to say that I kind of like about it. I kind of like Veruca in this.
Oh,
I
okay.
think she's pretty cool.
Veruca
I
was
like that
interesting.
she's a ballerina. Like, I like her song. I'm like, when Veruca wants this, and I like that they're Russians. Little things that I'm like, all right, I kind of dig that.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice. I didn't think I would like her character at first because it was such a departure. But I'm like,
Yeah.
actually, this is well acted. I do like that she's a Russian ballerina. I did not like her death scene, like, at all. Not even comically.
Ooh.
I will very seriously say that it disturbed me when I saw it. And I'm like,
Why don't you describe the death scene for us,
sure,
Roses?
surely will. So, in the book, instead of the goose that lay the golden eggs that you see in the movie, they're actually squirrels, specially trained squirrels that look for bad nuts. And Veruca wants one of these squirrels. So she goes into the squirrel room. She's determined to be a bad nut by the squirrels, whose eyes now turn red. They're kind of cute squirrels at first, right? They're dancing. They're kind of cute.
Yeah.
Now they're demon squirrels with like red glowing eyes. They chase her up this like conveyor belt. She goes off stage for a second. They're suddenly holding a dummy. These squirrels are holding a dummy of ballerina Veruca, and they rip her apart. All five
As
squirrels
the-
are holding a limb, including her head, by the way, of Veruca.
As the lyrics say, as we tear her apart from limb.
Oh yeah, it's very blatant. And like,
I can't believe they
I
did it.
can't believe they did that. What's the point? I don't see the point.
It's
This is on Broadway?
This was
No,
on
it's
Broadway.
real.
Yeah.
Christian
Oh,
Borle.
wow.
they-
That's brutal.
they just kill the kids.
By
I think
by
the only one who
dismemberment.
survives is Mike TV.
And it's brutal. And like upon second viewing, I was kind of like rolling my eyes. But if you first view it and you see the dummy come out, it's actually disturbing. Like you have that thought of a kid just got ripped alive. And also, what is the point? How can we go from, Wonka's actor singing about pure imagination and the wonders of childhood to literally ripping a child, including her head? Like and I'm very much like a dark humor person. I like dark humor, but dark humor has to have a redeeming quality, and this does not. It's just straight up ripping her apart, and then they pan over to, or they show over to the parents who are just in shock, and that's it. And I'm like, that's not what you would. I mean, they're just like, what happened? What happened here? What happened?
They try to play it. They play it like the parents are watching the scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Instead of watching what actually happened.
Right.
I like how someone asked Wonka, like, hey, how will they do it? And he's like, I know on Oompa Loompa that's great with a glue stick. Like, that's how flippant they are about it.
Yeah, like the reaction's weird. It's pointless. It's just kind of gratuitous for no reason whatsoever. But the audience, I think the audience was so shocked that they just kind of laughed and like
applauded.
Yeah, applauded just because it was that shocking. It was that absurd, you know?
This doesn't feel like a kid's show.
Not at all.
Which I think might be the most confusing part about who is this version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for?
I think it's just for me, honestly.
That's for one person.
I think they made this version for me. Because I really like that they murder the kids. I think that it's great. I love it. I don't know why. I feel like I've always wanted to just see a version where they just admit it. Where it's like, yeah, we kill 4 kids in this show. I mean,
if it's gonna
what are you
go
gonna
like
do?
off the rails though, I wish it would have stayed in that vein, because I'm fine with like some morbid stuff. I like the concept of Sweeney Todd being as morbid as it is, but it's like, it's just so over the top. There's no tone. It goes from silly, like very goofy jokes, silly jokes, and weird dialogue. Honestly, that was my least favorite part. Is this dialogue is awful. It is busted. Yeah, it's rough. And so they don't stay with that line of kind of like dark humor. They don't really know what genre. So yeah, who is this for? Like, you know, demographically, who is this for?
apparently no one. I mean, it did poorly and got negative reviews.
I mean,
so.
Liz, that's a good transition. Liz, we got some reviews down here.
Oh,
Why don't you
boy.
read one of the New York Times reviews?
I have to do review.
Yeah, we're previews part 2 here. We got actual reviews.
I am Diet Brie, but I will do my best.
Okay. What do we got here?
All right, we got first. This one's from Ben Brantley. So do you want
Our
me to read it,
favorite.
or do
Yeah.
you want Ben Brantley do someone who can do a Ben Brantley voice?
Nah, you do it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Ben Brantley in the New York Times on April 23rd, 2017 says of Charlie and Chocolate Factory, don't expect a sugar rush from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the new musical that opened at the Luntfontein Theater on Sunday. This latest adaptation of Roald Dahl's winning sinister children's story from 1964 is, thank heaven, no sweeter than the 2 film adaptation it inspired, starring Gene Wilder in 1971 and Johnny Depp in 2005.
Okay, so fun fact, Ben Brantley gave a negative review to the West End production and gave a middling review to the Broadway production. I don't know why that
He's
shocks
just like
me
me,
so
for
much.
real.
Because Ben Brantley does not give faint praise to anything.
Maybe he was also just shocked by the absurdity of it.
Sometimes you just want to watch bratty children die horrifically.
Yeah,
You know? And you're just like, this is the only show that will give me that.
indeed.
But then Time Out came out from David Coates saying, strangers with candy should be avoided. Our parents warn. Roald Dahl urges us to grab sugary goods, but be prepared for the consequences. Families who accept the treats currently preferred at the Luntfontein Theater, though, are in for a rough time on Broadway. Joyless, shapeless, and grating, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is a stale Necco wafer of a musical.
Woo!
David
That's a good
Coates.
one. That's a good one.
All right, Liz, we got one more. What's that one?
All right, we got NBC New York, written by Robert Kahn.
Con!
The best thing about Broadway's new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the I can't do with words. Inventively, savagely, and barbous ways that all the golden ticket winners, except that is for Charlie Bucket, die.
I mean, someone had to put in the first sentence. That is the most interesting. Like, I feel like they were just like, how are we going to get people to talk about it? Like, we got to kill the kids, don't we?
That does feel like
They
a
don't-
very like gratuitous choice. Is like this'll get people talking. Yeah, we don't have the greatest sets. Yeah, we put the factory in a little box, but we kill kids. That's something. And
Those kids be dead.
Well, I think we need to talk about some of these songs. meaning they just ported over a lot of songs from the 71 film that were not written for this specific musical. They had songs that in this musical, and they're like, nah, we got to bring in the old favorites. We own them. Why not use them?
Okay.
How do you think they were used, Roses?
Horribly. Just awful. And I'm not going to say like the performances were bad because I think the singers did well. They sang the songs beautifully. That's great. But tonally, they don't really fit in because there's nothing whimsical about this play. It comes across as some kind of satire for people who don't like the movie. Like for those who don't like Willy Wonka, here you go. And so, yeah, they'll go from pure imagination, one of the most beautiful songs, to just killing children or having dialogue with humor that's just not funny, just negative funny. So I thought it was used terribly. Hated it. It's interesting that I kind of preferred some of the original songs that were on the sweeter side than porting over the songs from the movie because I just didn't think they fit.
Because there are some songs I actually like that were written for this musical. Like I really do like the Willy Wonka theme.
How can a man who sells chocolate not know all the history? I don't understand. How can a man who sells chocolate not know of the mystery I hold in my hand? Willy Wonka, Willy Wonka, Willy Wonka made sweets, most delectable treats. Willy Wonka was the best of the best. If the subject is Wonka, it's true, I'm obsessed.
When people can actually sing it, when the little boy is trying his best to sing it, it's like, nah, kid, stop, please. You don't know what to do with your arms. You don't know what you're doing there.
He did some jazz hands. He's doing his best.
Can't say the R's right. They come out as W's. Like, come on, kid. It's not as bad on stage, but on the cast recording, it's just like, oh my God, this is too cutesy for me.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Wonka.
Mr. Wonka.
I also like, I mentioned the Veruca song, Mrs. TV's song, What Could Possibly Go Wrong, which is just about America overestimating themselves. I kind of like that song.
Here in the bosom of America, we love the things that make our country strong. We give our little sons lots of love and lots of guns. So what could possibly go wrong? Here in the bosom of America, we sit at our computer all night long. We pour ourselves a drink and then we tweet before we think. Oh, what could possibly go wrong?
I love Mrs. TV. I like her in the movie as well, but I also liked her here. What was the song? I'm trying to remember. My notes are downstairs. I somehow left my notes away, but I wrote down the Strike It, Reverse It song.
Yeah, strike that, reverse it.
Our schedule has no room for intros, languid and rubato. Accelerate right to the verse and play it molto presto and staccato. What zigzag roads and fickle fates have led you to my chocolate gates? I'm sure the stories would enthrall, but time is racing by us all. I'd love to rhyme a riddle or two, but there's so much time, so little to do. So much time, so little to do. Please strike that, reverse it. I meant the other way.
Which I was in shock. I could not believe that they took this line, this very flippant quip from the movie, and wrote a song about it. And I did not like it at all.
Yeah.
It's also like a thing, because doesn't Charlie do it at the end to show that he just like me?
Yes.
You know?
Oh, good. That's the connection.
Oh my gosh, she
Great.
just like me. The strike that, reverse it. It also is the way we open Act 2. We end Act 1 on a song that I think actually kind of works, which is It Must Be Believed to Be Seen.
No magic spells or potions for swellish domain. My kingdom's created from notions all swirling inside of my brain. Beyond this door's a banquet of Wonka-made cuisine. A lucky few will get to pass through, but it must be believed to be seen.
I think Christian Borle performs it very poorly. I think Douglas Hodge, who is in the West End version, really nails that song and gets like the dark vibe of it. Where there he's just like has a hood up and then he pulls the hood off and he reveals himself and it's like it's Wonka.
Right.
Where Christian
It
Borle
worked
falls
better
to
if
the
we hadn't seen Wonka already.
Yeah, they fixed that problem too. But here he falls to the ground, face pants. People gather around, then he just hops up like it's terrible.
Well, he's trying to do the thing from the movie.
It don't work.
Right?
Yeah.
In the movie, his cane gets stuck and he like does a
a little
flip.
tumble. Yeah, it's and the audience seemed to really enjoy it, but I also I do wonder, just having seen stage performance, it is different when you're there. It is different when you're in the theater, kind of connecting with these actors and actresses. But I wonder if that audience watched the recording, if they would feel the same way about this performance. Because, I was not on their page, man. I was not on their level.
Speaking of the audience and that specific moment when Christian Borle stands up and reveals himself, there is a pause for applause and there's like 4 people. It's like...
Oh, dude, do we clap here? I don't...
And you can see on Christian Borle's face that he's like, God damn it. And then he keeps going with the song.
Oh, no.
That moment flops, but other moments, like most of the laugh lines, like Mrs. TV's entire presence on stage, really sells to the audience.
Yeah, for sure.
Beyond this door's a puzzle. You'll find out what I mean. Beyond this gate is a world I create, but it must be believed to be seen.
Yeah. So we have now reached the end of our discussion. What is our overall thoughts on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the musical, and our cheese ratings? Roses, are you aware of our cheese ratings?
No, do explain.
Andrew, why don't you just elaborate? Overall thoughts on your cheese rating?
Sure. I think the movie is really good, and I'm sure almost everyone listening has probably already seen it. But, if you haven't seen it, it's like a classic. You should definitely watch it. The musical, on the other hand, feels like a satire of the movie in a lot of ways, and is so, all over the place, insane, that I can't help but have some enjoyment to it. I think it's a true guilty pleasure. I think it's awful and you should not watch it, but I think I enjoyed it a little too much, honestly. It really feels like if somebody hated the movie and then made it, this is what you would do. I think it would almost work better if you made it like Ronald McDonald or something in the Hamburger Factory, and this is like a satire, and it's not the same, but it's played up as if it's an advertisement for, I don't know. It's I can't even describe my feelings for it, but maybe don't watch it. I'm gonna go and give it a classic that we've already used, but we have to do it here. This gets chocolate cheese.
Yep, you could not do it. That's fair enough. Liz, what is your overall thoughts on our discussion and your cheese rating?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I learned a lot about child murder.
It's always
Lots
a
to
thing
learn
to
there.
learn about. It could help you in your college studies.
It really does. I've been out of college for a while, but yeah, definitely will help me down the line. No, I love the movie. I was catching bits of the show while you're talking. It is insane, and I'll probably watch it drunk at some point. So, just for fun.
Hell yeah.
So I thought of giving chocolate cheese, but I thought Andrew would do it before me, so I came up with a different one. So I'm gonna give it a sweet cheese pie. Which looks like a little ham pie with cream cheese in it. Doesn't look half bad.
All right, Roses, how about you?
Well, I love the movie. I think it's earnest and dark, but not so much that children can't enjoy it. And I think it's a true comfort movie. I think that Gene Wilder really becomes Willy Wonka. If you know Gene Wilder's other films, he really becomes a different character here. I don't even see him as Gene Wilder, just Willy Wonka. So highly recommend. The stage play, I do not recommend. I I'm hesitant here because I want people to see it so that I can talk to them about it. So I don't know.
Right.
That's kind of a recommendation. I think it was terrible. I'm maybe the showrunners had good intentions. Maybe they thought they were doing something really creative or really out there and offbeat, and maybe they thought that matched, the Willy Wonka vibe, something that offbeat. I just think it went too morbid and clashed with the silly jokes. So I'm going to give it a personal cheese rating here. I'm going to give it apple pie cheese because some people die by it, but we all know it's disgusting, really.
I agree wholeheartedly. That entire sentiment.
Thank you.
That was wonderful. Yeah, I love Willy Wonka. Not a big fan of the stage musical, so I'm giving the original film Drunken Goat Cheese, made by Beauregard Vineyards, because we gotta try that. And I am giving the stage version Willy Wonka, which is a type of cheese weed. You can buy it at leafly.com. So those are my 2 ratings, because, you got the nice Beauregard cheese, Drunken Goat, very good. And then you got, weed. So they call it cheese, but it's not really cheese.
Got it. Perfect. No notes.
Roses, you are an absolute delight to have on this show.
Well, thank you.
You do so many wonderful things out there for the world. Please promote them for the world.
Well, my name is Pushing Up Roses. You can find me on YouTube if you just type in Pushing Up Roses, or you can find me on Twitter if you type in Pushing Up Roses, or on Instagram if you type in Pushing Up Roses. I'm everywhere. Just type in my name. Don't go too far down the rabbit hole. You'll find some weird stuff probably. Just stay at the top. Go to Instagram and Twitter, and that's me.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any art accounts or anything like that?
The art is all on Instagram. And from the Instagram, you can find my Etsy shop where I sell my art. And YouTube is dedicated to reviews and riffs and retrospectives on all things murder mystery, horror, and sometimes video games. Sometimes.
Heck yeah. And I always try to give my own personal recommendation of your content. I'm a big fan for a long time. I really loved your Muppet Family Christmas special,
Thank you.
coverage. That was such a sweet video. But of course, your Murder, She Wrote videos are always great. And most recently, your Ferris Bueller video
thank you.
about something I watched as a youngin. That was a pretty intense one.
Oh, it was a disaster. I didn't think I could even finish it. I'm just like, I gotta do this review, but I don't want to watch this.
What was a bigger disaster? Willy Wonka the musical or Ferris Bueller the TV show?
Oh, Willy Wonka. For hands down, 100%. Hands down. But thank you. Muppet Family Christmas I knew that would get less hits because it's such a... I think people think Muppets, they think Muppet Christmas Carol. They don't necessarily think Muppet Family Christmas, but I love that special. I love the Muppets. How can you not?
Such a sweet special. We did an episode of it a couple years ago. Yeah, I love that special.
Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you again for coming on, and thank you all for listening. Please follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher at Musicals with Cheese. We're on Patreon at Musicals with Cheese. We're on Twitter at Cheesy Musicals, Instagram Musicals with Cheese, YouTube page Musicals with Cheese. We have a Patreon-only podcast called Patreon with Cheese, where me and Liz Essen are currently starting Tangled Season 2.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. That's a blast. Email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. Our keeper of the cheese is Juliet Antonio. You are the fucking tits, Juliet. This show is produced by the amazing, the incredible, the sadly absent Brianna Jones. Our themes were created by Robin Nash of IOU Music UK. Thank you, Robin, for creating those. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on the platform and for not kicking us off for teaching you how to murder some children. All right, do we have anything else we got to say before we wrap this on up?
Don't murder children.
Don't do it.
You know what? Murder children.
Unless you own a chocolate
Don't
factory. If you
go
own a
into
chocolate
the
factory,
squirrel
then it's
room. Just don't.
Yeah. Or the egg room. Either one.
Definitely go into the TV room.
Yeah, that's
TV
fun.
room's
You gotta
kinda
go in
cool.
there. That's just a good time.
Just bring your
Imagine
friend you
being
don't
small.
like. You can shrink them. And just never see them again.
That's taking OnlyFans to a new level, is all I'm saying.
You could eat a French fry and survive the whole day if you were that big.
You know what? I was on the fence, and now you've sold me. We'll see you next
Just saying.
time on Musicals with Cheese. There is no life I know to compare to pure imagination. When you're there, you'll be free if you really have to pee.